Hi again, I'm Mark, welcome back to Tree Bridges. So for this one I just thought I'd give you a little update on how I'm getting to with my little shunting yard. So this is my little this was London goods yard, and I've created just to sort of handle sort of 6 or 7 wagons at a time. I've taken the plan which I've shown previously, so it's a bit of a run around, and then there's sort of 3 sidings with sort of goods yards that I'm sort of, and the look I'm trying to go for is sort of at the end of their life. So it reminds me a lot of the RAF camps I grew up on, where a lot of the structure was sort of built very fast in the 40s and 50s as the RAF expanded, and around the camps buildings were just plonked basically. There's no aesthetic design or anything like that. So that's the sort of look I'm going for. It's the end of the rail freight, I suppose, era for the wagon, and the rail freight trucks or wagons where sort of the uniform logos are starting to appear. So I'm going to look out for a few of those, sort of as almost like a nod to the future. So I'm really enjoying it, just running things on a very small scale and just moving stuff around. I've never had a shunting yard layout. I'm not really very familiar with sort of shunting, I don't know, procedures and protocols. So just having fun. I've learned a few things. So there's a couple of areas I made some mistakes. If I show you, so down this end of the yard, I plan to have, obviously, the main power comes in on the inline, and that basically takes it from the other side of the loft, and that sort of covers the main 3 tracks. But obviously I'm aiming to have my little shunter on this little siding here, so I put some separate power onto here, put in a couple of isolator fish plates there, and then realised that obviously when this point here is that way, there is no power to this track here. So I've removed the isolating fish plates, and it all works fine now. So I did think I needed to put some separate power up here, but I didn't. And then this point here is the only point that's not sort of happy with my sort of little manual push-pull levers underneath. I need to look at that. So for this time being, I'm just manually doing that one. It's just not making the electrical connection. The point throws and it's okay for the wheels to go over, but it's not making the electrical connection up. Been building a little milk dock here. I'm just not happy with the roof I've got, so I'm still gonna I basically took the scale seams sort of platform kit, but the canopy is a bit clunky for what I want, so I'll re-scratch build that part of it, but I sort of kit bash the rest. So that will hold sort of 3 or 4 milk wagons. And then down this end, this is the scale scenes low relief depot or factory unit, I think. So the one at the back there, those tall ones, they're the low relief tall factory units, and these are the low relief small factory units. Anyway, so I've sort of, that's basically the unit that you get from John's kit, and I sort of I planned to have 2 at the back, and then forgot about this beam, so I've had to chop one down. I'm still in the process of finishing this one off. So I've moved another one to the front, and then I sort of kit bashed a corner unit that allows sort of goods to be taken off and onto a lorry at the back. So that's the plan. They all sort of fit. Anyway, let me show you where I got to with rolling stock. So I'd originally planned to use my old Class 32, so this is my first ever train set. I had to change the motor a few years ago. The one originally I had took apart, but what I've discovered is it does run but so running around the layout probably fine, doing low speed shunting maneuvers not worth it. So I will park that one. So yeah, and then the other train I've got is, this is my little Gronk shunter, runs really well. and I've used it to test out a lot of things around the track. I gave it a little clean up and improved the connections, and it's quite happy now. It sort of makes its way over all the points. If you saw the episode where I was introducing shunting line, I was having to push it around a lot, but in fairness, I hadn't cleaned it for quite a while, but it's very happy. So that's doing the majority of the work. Run a few trains and you can sort of see where I'm at. Well, hopefully that gave you a flavour of what I've been up to. So obviously when I was planning the layout, and if you've ever watched the first episode, you have to make that decision: is it freight or is it passenger? And very heavily, this layout is very passenger. But I did have, these were some of the original wagons from my first train set when I was 8 or 9, and I always wanted to include them in the layout. I do enjoy the sort of the calmness of a shunting yard and just working things out. So I've just been like putting a train together and then bringing it in and then working it on the fly, how you take it apart for the various depots. Obviously I've still got a little bit of old freight. Yes, they do very much look like a toy, because at the end of the day it was a toy train set. I've got a few newer wagons, and by new I mean 20 years old, I think these are. So I have been buying some little coal trucks from places that I know, but obviously they don't really fit in my shunting yard. But now I've got it up and running, I will be sort of looking out for some new freight stock to go with it. And yeah, my little milk wagons are real basics, so I'll look out for some of those. So the Hornby Class 37s work fine. So these are the old ring motor ones, but they're so really good. But earlier this year, so I went over to, I keep wanting to say ScotRail. They went over in Glasgow in March, and I picked up this Class 40 from Bachmann, and it's just so beautifully detailed. I'm sure everybody knows that, and there's a driver fitted, and it just runs so smoothly as well compared to the older stock. So I will be, I think, looking out for a little shunter that is a bit more modern and has the capability to be DCC converted. Right, anyway, that's the update, that's the status so far. Still plenty to do on I suppose the scenic side of it all, but I just wanted to try it out and see if I did actually enjoy a shunting yard. And so you kept hearing all those clicks. I removed the hand of God. Apologise, there's a couple of times where I forgot to turn the camera on, so I missed a certain bit, but you could hear all the clicks, and that's basically either these things going or the controller. So you can see that it is very manual to operate, as opposed to just setting the normal rolling stock running around on a loop. Right, I'll leave it there. I think the next one's about bridges. I'm building, I can just show you briefly, still working on Marylebone in terms of some of the key structures that I'm doing. So very briefly, turntables in, all wired up, so I just need to sort out the electrics for the Marylebone yard. Sort of laying out some structures to go, and there's obviously the old milk dock, rough position. I'll update you on this new bridge that I've built. Still need to do the end of supports, and then I have been working on sort of a template for the station, just to get the heights and everything else sorted out, but I'm quite happy with that. And obviously getting out more of the rolling stock, so still plenty to do, as always, because nothing's ever finished. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Do appreciate it, and maybe I'll catch you next time. Cheers.